Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalaнаянam Yogibhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Om Vishnu Vishnu Vishnu. Ishta Vishishta Shishteshta. This was good because he saw Ishta, what is appropriate for him at Bhishma Pitama. Just imagine Bhishma saying all this. He says, प्रिय भक्तों के जो प्रिय पूर्ता है, अविशिष्ट समान भाव व्यक्ति वाले हैं, अविशिष्ट किसी को भेदभाव नहीं करते हैं, एंड शिष्ट इष्ट जो सिखाने वाला है. और सीखा क्या? That time he realizes that his own life had a lot of learning. Shikhandi. He remembers Shikhandi. Nahusha. Now, why does he remember Shikhandi here? Very interesting. Shikha means choti. One who has a choti is Shikha. We know the word Shikha. Shikhandi means plume, P-L-U-M-E, plume or a very beautiful lock of hair, crest of hair. And which is knotted down, which is really nicely done. That's called Shikhandi. Shikha is just floating. The hair can be floating. But Shikhandi is a person who is controlled the hair and is Shikhandi. Shikhandi is determined. And it is also described Shikhandi as person who has the plume and also as represents the peacock. Peacock feathers. Shikhandi is a peacock feathers plume. They have a plume, feathers and a plume. Plume is up on the top here with the peacock. And that's very nice, beautiful looking. And so it's a beauty. Shikhandi is also represent the beauty of peacock. Interesting part here is, why does he remember all this? Well, just the story is very easy to recall. Amba was the one who was, Amba, Ambika, Ambika, and Ambalika. Three ladies, Bhishma Pitama actually took them away from their Swayamvar for the Pandu Putra to marry. That's basically what happened. And Ambika and Ambalika got married to Dhritarashtra and Pandu. But Amba was not, didn't want it. It had nothing to do with it. She was in love with somebody else at that point. So she goes back, Bhishma Pitama releases him. Okay, well, I didn't want to force upon you anything that you did. I didn't want to do it. So she goes back, and the lover refuses to take her back. Now you've already been snatched away, have been abducted by somebody, king, and none other than Bhishma. I'm not going to have you back. And Amba is now alone. She's very frustrated. She says, Bhishma Pitama did all this to me, and I will be the cause why he will be destroyed. So Amba then gets born as Shikhandi, is a man. Now transformation from female to male. It's a very interesting thing. Why does a female element transform into male? For what? A female can be transformed into man for a big reason. To destroy what was not proper. To remove the impropriety in the world. A woman has to assume manly qualities. If the woman does not assume the manly quality, Durga Mata will not be there. She has to show the strength. She has to show. But on Bhishma's side, he knew that this was also a woman in the past birth. He was aware of that. And he would not, in his right mind, would attack a woman. Because he knew Shikhandi was going to be a woman. was a woman. And therefore, the time when Bhishma Parva comes, Bhishma Parva is when Bhishma Pitama is laying down his life. That is when Shikhandi is being protected, he's protecting Arjuna at that point. Arjuna does not want to attack his guru and his Pitama himself. So imagine the scenario. He has to have somebody hiding, because if he did not hide somebody, he would lose. Bhishma Pitama was an amazing warrior, and there is no absolute way in the world that Arjuna would win against Bhishma. No way. No matter what. So he had to have karma theory coming in picture, that Shikhandi would be hiding. And so Shikhandi, the word Shikhandi here is very important. Couple of ways in it. And of course, that time he lays himself down, and he's down with a Sarsaya, because Shikhandi attacked him, and Shikhandi is the one cause of his demise. But the interesting part here is this. Therefore, he tries to prove by this Shikhandi word, even the word Shikhandi, he tries to prove that ultimately it's the karma. Yes. Then he calls it the beauty. Why does he say Shikhandi? More a pinch. Kalgi. Why? Believe it or not, that's Lord Krishna. That's his vision at that point. He calls Shikhandi, but he calls that vision. I'm going to go into Samavesh Teja Samaro. Krishna, I will go into Krishna form. So the word Shikhandi in this particular thing is सौंदर्य का प्रतीक है, मोर पंख धारण करने वाले का प्रतीक है. वो कौन है? Krishna. And he recognizes that Krishna Bhagavan is the one who has decided the karma for him. Shikhandi and Nahusha is the second story here. There are two stories. Nahusha was the Raja. Na means no. Naha means to bind, person who ties. And he bound his subjects in the control him. He's a very powerful, very virtuous king. But unfortunately, and what happened was Indra created a crime at that point. Crime in the sense he created a sin. And because of his sin, killing a Brahman, is a Brahma Hatya kare. Brahma Hatya he had done. Indra. One particular name I don't remember, but Brahma Hatya was done by Indra. Unknowingly, obviously. But he was punished, and he was hiding in a lotus. He said he had to leave his kingdom at that point. And so when he left his kingdom, somebody had to be appointed to control the devas and to have the kingdom being ruled. And they looked around and they found out that Nahusha is the person who can really do this. And so they invited Nahush Raja to control, because he was a controller of everybody. He was a very strong king and a very virtuous and everything. But what happened? Every virtuosity, anytime you get high level, you can start having either pride or something else. And he fell in love with Indra's wife, Shachi. He wanted to marry Shachi. Well, these things are not really appropriate. It's not allowed completely. And power and corruption can happen because of this region. And Indrani then tells him, the only way you can marry me is if you can bring a palanquin. Palanquin that are carried by Saptarushis. All 7 rishis have to carry the palanquin, and you come in the palanquin and to take me. Then only. This was obviously a chalkapat. It was just a trick to get him involved, because he was so much into his own self and so much of power and ahankar, So then he brings all these people, or 7 Saptarushis are big poor guys are carrying him and bringing him back. And he tries to say, oh, in Sanskrit it says, oh, move faster, faster, sarpa, sarpa, sarpa. Sarpa means move faster. Sarpa, that's the word for in Sanskrit. Sarpa, sarpa. He's crying. He tells all the Saptarishis, hey, hurry up, I want to get to Sachi. And of course, out of all the people, Agastya Muni was one of them who gets very angry at him. So you call me Sarpa, and he gives him sharp that he will become a Sarpa. And that is when he becomes a big python. When he passes away, he becomes a python at that point, big python, and the python is the one and the story goes further where he catches Bhima. He's so strong. He's so strong. I mean, after all, he had all the might in the world to become Indra. See, so he catches all in Mahabharata story that he catches all push Bhima, and Bhim cannot get out. He's so strong. Bhim just cannot get out. And he says, well, the only way I can get out of this whole trouble is if I get answer to some of my questions. Karma theory, dharma theory, all the stuff. He wants to really learn that where did I go wrong? What mistake did I make? So he prays and he realizes the only person who can answer the questions is Yudhishthira, Dharmayad. If Yudhishthira answers the question, all the questions, which he will answer correctly, because he's the Lord of Dharma, you see. Dharmaraj himself was born like that. So then there is a big conversation between Nahush or the Ajgar, Python, and Yudhishthira. And at that point, he answers all the questions. And Nahush is very happy with it. He gets Gnan. He realizes that mistakes and everything. Goes through the whole acceptance of the whole deed that he did all throughout. And he releases Bhima at that point. And then he's released from his birth and death cycle. So Nahusha, the important thing is these two, Shikandi and Nahusha, are together. Wow, why in the world he would think about all this? That's because he's pointing out everything is fine, but the karma theory is very important. Whatever you did, I mean, Bhakta can do Shishta, Vishishta, Shishta, so you can do all kinds of teaching, but Nahusha, Vrusha is a bull and power. Then only you can get a power of virility. It's a Taurus. Vrusha means Taurus. Taurus means bull. Nahusha, Vrusha, once you get released from the karma, then only you become like a Vrushakapi. Vrushakapi was another earlier, we are similar, and Vrusha means also rain power. Rain like a virility, virile rain, it's a number of interpretations that are given in this. But it basically means once you get released, then only he became powerful again. Ajgar was, Nahusha was very powerful to begin with. And so these three words, they give us a very beautiful sequence into what he's thinking about. So get into Bhishma's mind, all these three. Why are they that way? Why should these words belong there? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.